Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that's going to sting a little. Most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they're distracted. They start strong, eyes on the prize, heart burning like fire. But somewhere along the way, they get pulled off course. Someone whispers doubt in their ear, or life throws something sharp and heavy at their feet, and they stumble. They forget. They forget what they saw when they first closed their eyes and imagined the life they wanted. You've got to stay loyal to that vision, and I don't mean loyal when it's easy. I don't mean loyal when people are clapping for you, when you're getting likes, when the bank account looks fat, and the sunlight's falling on your back like it was made for you. I'm talking about loyalty when nobody understands you, when you're in the dark, when it hurts, when you're tired, when your knees are shaking and your hands are blistered, and all you want is to lie down and stop. That's where loyalty is tested. Your vision is like a vow, a sacred contract between who you are and who you're meant to be, and like any vow, it demands faithfulness, not partial commitment, not when I feel like it, and not if it's convenient. Loyalty is brutal. Loyalty is beautiful. Loyalty to your vision means you'll walk away from comfort, from popularity, from approval. Because those things don't mean a damn thing if they cost you your purpose. And here's the hard truth. Most people won't see what you see. They weren't given the vision, you were. Stop expecting them to understand it. It wasn't emailed to the group. It was whispered to you, in silence, in stillness. In those quiet moments when you felt something stir in your chest and you knew, you were meant for more than this. That whisper didn't come by accident, and it didn't come to make you comfortable. It came to shake you up, to set a fire under your life, to wake you from sleep. But loyalty to a vision requires structure. Requires responsibility. You see, vision without responsibility is delusion. You can't wish your way to the life you want. You build it. One disciplined act at a time. You wake up early when you'd rather sleep in. You study when everyone else has been watching distractions. You save when others spend. You speak the truth when it would be easier to lie. You sacrifice now for a later that most people aren't even thinking about. And let me tell you something. That is rare, and rare isn't celebrated, not right away. See, you'll be laughed at first, you'll be misunderstood. People will project their own insecurities onto you. They'll call you arrogant because you have ambition. They'll call you naive because you believe in something bigger. They'll tell you to be realistic. You know what realistic means most of the time. Stay small like me. You've got to develop a ruthless respect for your own potential. Because if you don't, the world will convince you you're average, that you were meant to fit in, blend in, disappear. But the truth is you weren't. You were meant to become, and becoming hurts. Becoming costs. Becoming demands that you walk through fire and choose character over comfort every single day. You know what's worse than failure, regret. Not because you fell, but because you never tried. Because you looked in the mirror and saw a shell of someone who once had a dream, who once had a hunger, but let it die in the name of approval, or fear, or laziness. You know how many people are quietly suffocating behind polite smiles. People who buried their vision under years of excuses, distraction, addiction, and fake relationships. That's not living. That's surviving. You weren't built to survive. You were built to stand. But standing up requires weight. You've got to carry something. Responsibility, vision, purpose, meaning. And that means you stop blaming, stop waiting. Stop outsourcing your destiny to someone else. You think the world owes you understanding. It doesn't. You want meaning, earn it. You want purpose. Pick up something heavy and carry it with grace. Carry your family, carry your name, carry your work like it matters. Because it does. It's not just about you. It never was. When you show up and stay loyal to your vision, you become a beacon for others. You show them what's possible. And let's be honest, some of you are in a war right now. Not a war with bullets or bombs, but a war with yourself. Your laziness, your doubt, your fear, your comfort, every day is a battle between who you are and who you could be. And the tragedy is that most people surrender. They choose ease over excellence. They distract themselves into mediocrity. But you don't have to. You can be the exception, but only if you decide. And that's where it begins. Decision, not feelings, not inspiration. Not someone yelling, "You got this," from a stage. Decision. Quiet, cold, steel-edged decision that says, I will not quit. I will not betray my future for temporary comfort. I will not bow to fear. I will stay loyal to the vision. And let's talk about fear. Fear will always be there. It's not going away, but you can't let fear lead, because fear will convince you to take the easy road, to play small, to hide. It'll dress up as wisdom or humility or prudence, but fear is a liar. Fear's job is to keep you safe, but your job isn't to be safe. Your job is to be faithful to the calling, to the path, to the work. And the more you walk into fear, the smaller it becomes. You think confidence comes first. No, courage comes first. Confidence is what shows up after you've done the hard thing anyway. And you've got to be willing to be lonely. Loyalty to your vision often means walking alone. Not forever, but long enough to become the kind of person that vision requires. You don't get strong in the crowd. You get strong in the silence, in the early mornings, in the hard choices, in the moments where no one is watching but your own conscience. That's where transformation happens, and I'll tell you this. Your vision won't be built in a day. It's not a highlight reel. It's not pretty. It's messy. It's boring. It's exhausting. It's failing forward. It's losing people you thought you'd have forever. It's wrestling with your own weakness and showing up again anyway. That's the work. That's the price. And the sooner you stop asking it to be easier, the sooner you can rise. Because that's the irony. The vision you were given. It's already yours. You're not chasing it. You're becoming the kind of person who can hold it. And that means discipline. That means integrity. That means refusing to settle when you're halfway there and the world's offering you comfort for your dreams. You've got to say no. Not because it's bad, but because it's not yours. You've got to say yes to the hard road because that's the one that leads to glory. And I don't mean fame. I don't mean applause. I mean glory, the deep, soul-level satisfaction that comes from knowing you fought for something real, that you didn't bend, that you didn't shrink, that when life tried to break you, you bled purpose, that when the night came, you didn't run from the dark, you lit a torch. And here's the final truth. Loyalty isn't sexy. It's not flashy. It's daily. It's gritty. It's unseen. It's 1,000 small choices that no one claps for. But those choices are the bricks of greatness. You build with them or you don't. You either honor your vision or you betray it. Every decision is a vote for the man or woman you're becoming. So vote wisely, because your vision, if it's real, will demand everything. But in giving everything, you gain the only thing that matters. Becoming fully, fiercely, unapologetically, you people often talk about chasing dreams like it's some romantic, cinematic journey. But they don't talk about the real thing it takes to make it discipline. Not motivation, not hype, not a YouTube video with intense music and flashing words. Just you waking up every single day and doing the work. That's the unglamorous truth of staying loyal to your vision. Discipline is the quiet force that keeps you moving when the motivation dies, and it will die. Motivation is a guest. Discipline is a tenant. Motivation knocks when things are going well. Discipline shows up when everything falls apart. And the world won't warn you about this. You're conditioned to chase feelings, to act when you're in the mood, to wait for the perfect alignment of energy and inspiration. But that's not how any real progress happens. That's not how visions become reality. That's not how masterpieces are built. Every great work, every book, every business, every athlete at the top of their game is the result of discipline stacked over time. Boring, repetitive, daily discipline. Doing the same core things over and over until mastery is no longer an act, but a state of being. You want to become someone who fulfills their vision. Then get ready to do what most people won't. Get ready to get up at 5:00 a.m. not because it's trendy, but because your vision demands time that nobody else will give you. Get ready to say no to short-term pleasures, scrolling, watching, going out every weekend, because every yes to that is a no to your long-term mission. Get ready to be misunderstood, because people who are ruled by feelings will never understand someone ruled by purpose. Discipline isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't feel good. There's no applause for it. No dopamine rush. Just the silent, steady grind of a person committed to what they said they would do, long after the feeling they said it in has disappeared. That's where character is born. You're not tested when things are fun. You're tested when you don't feel like it, when you're tired, when your plans fall apart, and your emotions beg you to give up. And yet, you stay the course. That's discipline. You see, discipline is about structure. It's about setting systems that protect your vision even when your emotions can't. Because emotions are like weather. They change all the time. But a structure, a system, a non-negotiable routine, that's your anchor. That's what keeps your vision from drifting off into the land of forgotten dreams. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And if your system is based on waiting until you feel like it, you're already lost. This is why people burn out. Not because the vision wasn't worth it, but because they relied on energy instead of order. They tried to run a marathon on a sugar rush. They mistook a spark for a furnace. They didn't build discipline into their days, so the moment they lost the feeling, they quit. Or they started looking for a new vision, thinking the problem was the dream. The dream isn't the problem. Your inconsistency is. Daily discipline means you don't just commit when it's convenient. You commit when it's painful. You don't brush your teeth only when you feel inspired. You do it because it's hygiene. You don't train your body only when the gym feels exciting. You train because it's a commitment. In the same way, showing up for your vision becomes a kind of mental hygiene. You don't wait for the perfect day. You create good days by showing up when they feel bad. And it's not about working harder, it's about working consistently. You don't need 12-hour sprints followed by 6-day gaps. That's adrenaline. That's performance. What you need is quiet, faithful, repeated effort. The same way water cuts through rock, not by power but by persistence. You show up, do the work, and then do it again tomorrow. You lower the drama and increase the reps. And this applies across your life. In your relationships, discipline means loving consistently, even when the mood changes. In your finances, it means saving and investing even when you'd rather spend. In your mental health, it means sticking to habits that keep you grounded even when life tempts you with chaos. In your creative life, it means showing up to the page, the studio, the rehearsal room, whether or not inspiration visits. Discipline is loyalty in action. It's how you demonstrate that you're serious, not just excited, because make no mistake, excitement fades. Passion has peaks and valleys, but loyalty, that's steady, that's rooted. That doesn't flinch when the storm hits. You don't need to feel like showing up to show up. You just need to decide. That's the part most people don't want to hear. They want to be inspired into action. But real visionaries, they act their way into inspiration. They get up, get moving, and let the feelings follow the action. Not the other way around, and here's the most dangerous trap. Productivity without purpose. Some people are busy every day, doing 10 different things, chasing 10 different paths. But they're not disciplined. They're distracted. Being busy isn't the same as being aligned. True discipline isn't just about working hard. It's about working right, focusing your energy like a laser on the direction of your vision, cutting out noise, cutting out comparison, doing what you said you would do, not what the world claps for. It's in that space where you ignore the world's applause and keep your promise to yourself, that your character is forged, and you know what happens when you start living like that. You stop needing motivation. You stop chasing permission. You stop waiting because you've become your own source. Your vision becomes your compass. Your habits become your fuel. You wake up, you show up, and you build because it's who you are now. And that's the truth they don't teach enough. Discipline isn't a skill. It's an identity. You become disciplined by acting disciplined. You embody it. You make it your standard, and that identity starts with a decision, reinforced by action, repeated through habit, until it becomes automatic. And suddenly, People will look at you and say you're driven, or gifted, or special, but what they're really seeing is the quiet result of 100 days of showing up when it wasn't fun. What they're really seeing is your loyalty to the vision, etched into every action, every choice, every step you took when no one was watching. There's something deeply personal about having a vision. It comes to you in a quiet moment when you least expect it. Maybe you're lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, or walking alone, thinking about what your life could be. It doesn't arrive like a crowd cheering. It comes as a whisper, as an inner pull, a conviction, a glimpse of a future that doesn't exist yet, but feels more real than the world in front of you. And in that moment, it feels undeniable. But soon after, something happens. You share it. And suddenly, that clarity you felt begins to fade under the weight of people's opinions, doubt, and misunderstanding. That's where the real test begins. Because here's the truth no one tells you when you start chasing a vision. It's not theirs to understand. It wasn't downloaded into their soul. It didn't shake them awake in the middle of the night. It didn't keep them restless with ideas, dreams, or plans. It came to you. So stop looking for validation from people who were never supposed to carry it. You see, people are quick to judge what they don't understand, especially if your vision disrupts their comfort. When you decide to grow, to aim higher, to change your path, it unsettles those around you who aren't ready to do the same. It makes them look at themselves, and when people feel exposed by your ambition, their natural reaction is to pull you back, not always out of malice, often out of fear. Fear that you'll change, fear that you'll leave them behind, fear that you'll fail and take them down with you. But your loyalty isn't to their comfort. It's to your calling, and let's be real. Sometimes it hurts. When you pour out your heart, talk about your dreams, share what's driving you, and all you get is confusion, mockery, or silence. It feels like rejection, and if you're not careful, that rejection becomes internalized. You start doubting yourself, you shrink. You question whether the vision was even real to begin with, but that's not the truth. The vision didn't disappear. You just got distracted by other people's inability to see what you see, and of course they can't see it. They don't have your eyes, they don't have your history, your hunger, your wiring. They didn't feel the fire when the idea first hit you. They didn't carry the weight of the life you've lived, or the one you're trying to create. So why would they get it? It's like trying to explain color to someone who's lived their whole life in black and white. It's not that the color isn't real, it's just not theirs yet. And that's okay. Stop demanding agreement. Stop needing applause. Your vision isn't a group project. It's a personal assignment. And the sooner you accept that, the faster you'll move forward. What you have to understand is this: visionaries are always misunderstood at first, because vision by definition is about what's not yet visible. If everyone could already see it, it wouldn't be a vision. It would be a fact. You don't need permission to believe in something bigger. You need conviction to carry it when no one else will. And the world has always moved forward because of people who were willing to walk alone for a season. Think about the people we admire, those who built, who created, who changed things. They were ridiculed, dismissed, doubted, until they weren't, until the vision started to manifest, until the results made the disbelief irrelevant. But between the beginning and the arrival, there's a long stretch of being unseen, unheard, and misunderstood. That's the valley where most people give up, not because the dream wasn't good, but because they couldn't handle the loneliness of the walk. You have to grow comfortable in that valley. You have to become your own echo chamber when no one affirms you. You have to remind yourself daily why you started, what you saw, and who you're becoming. You have to become immune to outside noise, because the moment you start reshaping your vision to fit their understanding, you dilute its power. You start playing small to keep others comfortable, and in doing so, you betray the truth you were given. And sometimes the resistance won't come from enemies. It'll come from the people closest to you, family, friends, co-workers, people who love you but don't understand you, and that's one of the hardest parts. Because when those you trust don't believe in what you're building, it feels personal, but it's not always betrayal, it's limitation. Their view of you is based on your past, not your potential. They know who you've been, not who you're becoming. Don't let their limited lens become your ceiling. You have to protect your vision like a flame in the wind. Shield it, feed it, speak life into it. Build routines, environments, and habits that reinforce it. And be careful who you let into that space. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Some people just want to poke holes, question your sanity, and drain your energy. You don't owe everyone an explanation. Sometimes the best answer is quiet execution. Let your work do the talking. Let your growth become your proof. Let your consistency become the sermon, and even then, don't expect everyone to understand. Some never will, and that's fine. It was never their job to believe it was yours. You don't need consensus to start. You need courage. You don't need a committee to move. You need clarity, and clarity often comes in solitude. Learn to be okay with walking alone if that's what it takes to stay aligned. Loneliness isn't a curse, it's a filter. It separates those who are addicted to being liked from those who are committed to being great. And being great means you choose principle over popularity, vision over validation, purpose over people. Pleasing, and over time, something beautiful happens. The more you commit to your vision, the more you attract people who do understand. Not because you begged them to, but because your light drew them in. Like-minded souls, fellow builders, people who speak the same unspoken language, but they only show up after you've proven you can walk alone. That's the price, the test, the refining fire. If your vision is easily shaken by other people's opinions, it's not ready yet. If it crumbles under criticism or needs applause to survive, it needs more time in the dark. Real vision isn't fragile. It might tremble, but it doesn't quit. It might bend, but it doesn't break, because it's anchored in something deeper than the crowd. It's anchored in conviction. So carry it. Even when they laugh, even when they question, even when they walk away, carry it through the confusion, the silence, the rejection. And as you keep walking, the path clears, the strength grows, the vision sharpens. And eventually, what once seemed invisible becomes undeniable. Not because others finally saw it, but because you never stopped believing in it. There's a quiet war being waged inside you every day. War between who you are and who you could be. It's not always loud. It doesn't always look like chaos. In fact, the most dangerous part is how subtle it is. It hides behind routine, behind comfort, behind the illusion of I'm fine. But if you've ever laid in bed at night feeling like something's missing, like your potential is going to waste, like you're drifting instead of building, then you already know the war I'm talking about. The enemies: fear, comfort, distraction. Three forces that look harmless on the surface, but are quietly stealing your purpose while you're busy convincing yourself you've got time. Fear is a liar, but it's persuasive. It doesn't always scream at you. Sometimes it whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if people laugh? And the worst one, what if it doesn't matter? These aren't just thoughts, they're weapons. Fear shrinks your world down to what's familiar, what's safe, what's already been done. It convinces you that trying is dangerous, that risk is reckless, that change will hurt too much. And sometimes you agree not because it's true, but because you've heard it so many times it feels true. But your purpose doesn't live in safety. It lives beyond the edge of what you know. Fear wants you to believe that stepping into the unknown is the end of something, but it's actually the beginning. You don't find strength by avoiding fear. You find it by facing it. You don't become confident by waiting until you're ready. You become confident by moving forward despite the doubt. Every time you back down from fear, it grows. Every time you confront it, you grow. And comfort is no better. It disguises itself as peace, but it's a cage. It says, you've done enough. Why push harder? You deserve a break. But too much comfort robs you of growth. It dulls your hunger. It makes you forget the pain that pushed you to want something more in the first place. Purpose doesn't come from living a pleasant life. It comes from doing difficult things that stretch you, from refusing to settle, from holding yourself to a higher standard even when no one else does. Comfort feeds you just enough success to keep you from chasing real greatness. It tells you that average is okay if it means avoiding struggle. But you weren't built for average. Deep down, you know that. You've felt the tension, the gap between where you are and where you could be. That tension is the call of purpose, and the longer you ignore it, the more frustrated you become. Not because life is bad, but because it's small asterisk. You weren't designed to live in a padded cell of predictability. You were meant to build, to fight, to lead, to create, and that requires discomfort. But even more than fear and comfort, there's a third enemy that's even more deceptive: distraction. And distraction is a killer because it feels like motion. It looks like activity. You're busy, you're moving, you're reacting to notifications, you're answering messages, you're scrolling endlessly. But you're not building anything. You're not getting closer to your vision. You're just spinning your wheels in a digital fog, letting your attention get hijacked by meaningless things. Distraction steals your focus, your time, and your depth. And worse, it makes you numb. You stop feeling the urgency of your life because you're constantly entertained. You don't sit with your thoughts long enough to hear your own truth. You fill every quiet moment with noise until the noise becomes normal and silence feels uncomfortable. That's the trap. You forget what it means to be still, to reflect, to think deeply about what matters and what doesn't. And the more distracted you are, the easier it is for fear and comfort to creep back in. Because distraction isn't just digital, it's mental. You can be so overwhelmed by small decisions and tiny obligations that you never ask the big questions. Why am I doing this? What's pulling me forward? Where is this taking me in the long run? It's easy to blame the world for that. The algorithms, the pace of life, the pressures of work. But at some point, you have to take responsibility. You have to reclaim your attention like it's your life. Because it is asterisk. The most valuable currency you have is not money or time. It's focus. Whatever owns your attention owns your future. And if you keep giving that focus to distractions, you're writing a life script that ends in regret. The terrifying thing is how easy it is to live your entire life that way, afraid to fail, addicted to ease, distracted to death. And then one day you wake up at 40, 50, 60 years old and realize you never fully lived. You existed, you performed, you pleased people, but you didn't build what you were meant to build. You didn't fight for what mattered. And that's not the kind of pain you can medicate. That's a soul, deep ache that comes from knowing you traded your purpose for comfort. So what's the alternative? It's not about becoming fearless. No one is fearless. It's about becoming courageous, choosing to act even when the fear is loud. It's not about rejecting rest. Rest is necessary. But comfort as a lifestyle is poison. You have to stretch. You have to choose discipline over indulgence, meaning over pleasure, responsibility over ease. And when it comes to distraction, you need to start defending your mind like your life depends on it. Because it does. That means turning things off, saying no, scheduling time to think, to plan, to get quiet, reconnecting with your reason. What's the vision? What's the mission? What are you building? Who are you becoming? If you can't answer those questions clearly, then nothing else matters. Because a person without purpose is like a ship without a compass. You'll drift, you'll follow trends, you'll end up somewhere you never intended, wondering how you got there. But once you know your purpose, everything changes. It gives you a filter. You stop chasing everything and start building one thing. You stop needing approval and start walking in alignment. Fear still shows up, but it doesn't stop you. Comfort still calls, but it doesn't lure you. Distraction still knocks, but you're too focused to answer. That's what a life of purpose looks like. Not perfect, but pointed. And if you've drifted, if you've gotten stuck, if you've been numbing yourself with comfort or running from fear, it's not too late. You can reset. You can take one honest step back toward meaning, but it won't come without a fight. It never does. Purpose isn't handed to you. It's earned through resistance, through saying, I will not let fear win. I will not stay small. I will not waste this one shot I've been given. That's the standard. And if you're ready to live by it, then get ready to walk a different path than most. It will be harder, quieter, less applauded, but it will be worth it, because deep down you already know. You weren't made for a life of distraction, comfort, and fear. You were made for more. Everyone wants to talk about greatness when the lights are on, when the stage is set, when the cameras are rolling, when the world is clapping. But greatness doesn't start there. It doesn't begin in the spotlight. It's born in silence in the shadows when no one is watching. That's where it's forged. Not in one massive leap, but in thousands of small, quiet decisions that seem invisible to everyone else. And it's those small acts of discipline, done over and over again when no one is keeping score, that separate the extraordinary from the average. The world loves the outcome, but it rarely respects the process. It applauds the championship, not the lonely Earl in morning workouts. It celebrates the speech, not the late nights spent wrestling with self-doubt, fighting to find the right words. It admires the successful business, not the quiet, grueling years of sacrifice when it seemed like nothing was working. And that's the trap. Because if you're not careful, you'll start to believe that greatness is about moments, not movements. About talent, not tenacity. But the truth is greatness is not loud. It's not always glamorous. Most of the time it's boring, because consistency is boring. Showing up every day to do the same thing, knowing there's no applause coming. Pushing through the repetition, choosing focus when distractions beg for your attention. Doing the reps when no one sees the results yet. That's not sexy, that's not Instagram worthy, but that's where the work gets done. That's the foundation of everything that eventually becomes worth celebrating. The people who achieve mastery in anything, whether it's art, sport, leadership, or personal growth, didn't get there because of a single defining moment. They got there because they made 1,000 choices to keep going when nothing around them validated their effort. They didn't wait to feel inspired. They didn't need motivation to strike like lightning. They built systems, they cultivated habits, they trusted the process long before the process gave them anything back, and there's something sacred about that, about knowing you're planting seeds that may not bear fruit for years, that you're investing in a version of yourself that only you can see. The world says, show me results, then I'll believe in you. But the ones who build something meaningful say, I'll believe in myself before the results show up. And that kind of faith, the kind that doesn't depend on visibility, is rare. You have to learn how to love the silence, how to respect the quiet spaces where growth happens away from the noise. Because in the silence, your ego dies. There's no audience to impress, no followers to praise you, no likes to count, just you and the work, just you and your commitment. And in that place, you find out who you really are, not who you pretend to be, not who others want you to be, but who you're becoming when no one's watching. And here's the brutal truth. Most people don't have the patience for that kind of process. They want quick wins, they want results now, so they start and they stop. They get excited and then they get tired. They set goals, but they don't build habits. They talk more than they execute, and they wonder why their life stays stuck in the same place. The difference between average and elite isn't a massive gap in talent. It's usually a small, almost invisible difference in consistency. The elite don't just do more. They do the basics better, more often, with more intention. They master the mundane. They commit to the fundamentals. They build a rhythm and honor it even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because greatness isn't found in what you want it's found in what you're willing to repeat over and over again, even when it's not convenient. Even when you don't feel like it. Feelings are fleeting, but discipline is a muscle, and the more you use it, the stronger it gets. That's why showing up when it's difficult matters more than showing up when it's easy. Anyone can grind when they're excited. But what about when you're discouraged, when you're tired, when you've been doing the right things and the results still haven't come? That's the test. That's the proving ground. If you can keep moving forward through the silence, through the dryness, through the invisible days, that's when you're becoming dangerous. not because of what others see, but because of the strength you're building in secret. People will call it luck when they finally see your breakthrough. They'll say it happened overnight. But you'll remember the nights you stayed up studying, the early mornings you got up before the sun, the sacrifices you made while everyone else was coasting. You'll remember the hours no one counted, the effort no one clapped for. That's the real story, that's the invisible resume, and that's what makes greatness real. Not just talent, but time, not just hype, but heart. And maybe right now you're in that silent season. Maybe you're grinding in obscurity. Maybe no one sees what you're building. No one gets what you're trying to create. No one applauds your effort. That's okay. That's how it's supposed to be, because silence is sacred. It's where the roots grow deep. It's where you learn to depend not on recognition, but on purpose. And when your purpose is real, the work sustains you. Not the praise, not the attention, the asterisk work asterisk. So keep doing the small things. Keep stacking days of consistency. Keep showing up when it would be easier to quit. Because every rep counts, every page written. Every workout done, every dollar saved, every difficult conversation had, they all add up. And while others chase noise, you build a foundation quietly, steadily, relentlessly. The results may not come overnight. But that's the point. Greatness takes time. It takes grit. It takes you deciding again and again that your future matters more than your feelings, that your goals are worth the grind, that your values are worth the inconvenience, that your destiny is worth the delay, and one day the silence will break. The seeds you planted will grow. The consistency you honored will turn into momentum, and the greatness you've been building quietly, patiently, faithfully will speak for itself.